Hey everybody, this is Paul with CDA. We're going to go ahead and get started today with reports. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the reports menu. And the first thing I want to point out is that it is broken down into two sections. The first section is going to be unattended reports, and then the next one is going to be the 6 different categories for which we can run reports. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to jump into the unattended report settings. And then what we're going to notice, it's broken down into depot and parts. We're going to ignore these. We're only going to concentrate on depot and parts holding for return. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on depot. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to start from the top and we're going to work our way down. So the first thing we're going to make sure if we want this report to run is we're going to say it needs to be active. And this report will run unattended either weekly or monthly. So let's continue and go on. So we're going to make it active. And then it's going to say, hey, how many days do you want this report to include from the day it runs? So let's say we run it on a Monday. It's going to look 30 days back, or you can change it to 60, 90, 45, however many days you want it to look back from which you run the report. That's the amount of days it will include. So that's what that box is for. Now, if you're a depot customer, you're very familiar with why we have these fields here. So we'll just gently go through them. And so it's going to be billing code, the tech, in-house substatus, and even for our service bench customers, we include the service bench substatus. So you would check what you would want if you're a depot customer. Want to include resends and or recalls. So include only resends/recalls. So that's what that checkbox is for. And now let's get to the critical part I want to explain. So we have the weekly section and then we have the monthly section. Each one of these needs to run independent of each other. So if you run the weekly, you cannot run the monthly. If you run the monthly, you cannot run the weekly. So now let's take a look at that. So you can see this has been set up to run a weekly report on Monday and Thursday. So what that means is that every Monday and Thursday AM, let's just say 8 AM, inside this recipient's inbox will be the report for depot. As you add more email addresses, this report will go inside each of those email addresses for their inbox. If you want to run it just one day a week, then you simply click on the days of the week that you want it to run, and then you say save and exit. Now let's say you want to run it just once a month. You do not need a weekly report. You're just going to uncheck, and then it's going to say, hey, what day of the month do you want it to run? And we're just going to say the 15th of each month, I want you to send this report to these recipients' inbox so that when they get in the morning, they'll be able to see this report. And then you simply click here and do a save and exit. And now everyone in this list will get once a month the report for depot. And so I'm just going to go ahead and click save and exit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to reports, unattended reports, and now I'm going to go to parts holding for return. And what's going to happen, the same logic that we did for depot, we're now going to apply for parts holding for return. And we're going to make sure it's active. We're going to say how many days do we want to look back. And then here there's a checkbox that says, hey, only show cores. If I only wanted a cores to be shown, I would check this box, and that's how that would be applied. For here we have controlling inventory and vendors. Generally speaking, most people will leave these blank. So they're blank by default. You can do the drop-down menu and select your inventory control and or vendor. And again, we have the same logic as we just spoke about for depot. So we could say, hey, I want it weekly, or I don't want it weekly. I actually want it monthly. I want to send it to these people. And then in the morning of the 15th of each month, the list of people that are in here will get the parts holding for return report in their inbox in the morning. And then we're just going to say save and exit. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and talk about the 6 different categories that we have for reports. Now we won't look at all of them. We're simply just going to go through each category. So we're in the invoice. For invoice reports, we give you a total of 15. So you can see them all listed here. Here's sales tax report. I'll just pause for a moment so you can briefly look them over. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to work orders. So for work orders, we have a total of 16 reports. So we're just going to quickly just leave this open just so you can get just a real quick view of what we offer. The next thing is going to be purchase order reports. For that, we just offer 3. And then we're over in inventory reports. So for inventory, we do 5. Parts usage report, very popular one. And now we're in the parts tracking reports where we offer 13. This is a very popular one because this is parts holding for return, new unused. Here's cores. This is a huge one. A lot of our customers run. And then we see field scrap down here, and then requests for RMA. So again, total of 13 reports you can run for parts tracking. And then last but not least, we have inventory reports, and we have a total of 4 there. So as you can see, running reports in CDA is pretty straightforward. Again, we have unattended, and then we have 6 categories for which you can run reports. And again, you just pick the one that's best suited for what you're looking for, and then that report will run. You can either view it on the screen and or you can download it as an Excel spreadsheet, as a CSV, and or you can print it and download it as a PDF. So that will conclude our video for reports.